Ende by ekenekwe ni muno ozo no bose uruchi nketa asimono kubosi nketa mara na imma asukam ka ukonye chiri ya zelu diko sidi iya bo Eastern News 24 ka isi wene uteru no yabu nnukwu ozi dị oke mkpa gbasata maka ihe na-eme n'obodo anyị nọ n'ime ya na gbasata maka nnwere ụwa na azọ diko sidi ka gbapụ na ọsọ uteru no yabu ozi aji maka ya wee bịa n'iru akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị nketa na Eastern News 24 unu na n'iru akwụkwọ onye na-afụ n'iru akwụkwọ bụ former president bụ nwanne anyị nwoke bụ Chief Goodluck Ebere Jonathan ọ nwere ife okwu n'iru akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị nketa gbasata maka ihe na-eme n'obodo a ma chọkwu gee ya bụ ife ọ dị nnukwu mkpa maka na ekwere unu nkwa na anyị ga-ewetara unu ya bụ update n'iru akwụkwọ bụ gbasata maka ife na-eme n'ala Igbo na ihe na-eme n'obodo a dịka ihe ga-ya bụ ife ga-esia ya itiara your own contribution if iche gbasata maka ihe ndị a niile the former president kwuo ga-abụ the solution. All right, over to you, sir.
You know, as former heads of states, we have a hierarchy. When Abdulsalami is here, he cannot speak before me. You see, I'm still the last born, so enjoying the privilege of the last born. And even Buhari that I just finished, he will take his military position, so he's still senior to me. Until when my good friend Tinubu finishes, then I will have a junior brother. So thank you so much. His Excellency, Mr. President, here represented by the Vice President, my good friend, thank you for coming. The Senate President, represented by the Deputy Senate President, thank you for your brilliant speech. And our Chief Host, the Right Honorable Speaker, thank you for bringing us together to have this conversation. His Excellency General Abdulsalami Abubakar, the former head of state, and somebody who navigated the current democratic setting and has endured for 25 years because of your good works. Thank you so much. We appreciate, we really need to listen to you. The Deputy Speaker and Principal Officers of the National Assembly are here with us, and members of the National Assembly. The Chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, thank you for coming. We really want to listen to you because the issue of state police is very critical. Honorable ministers are here with us, members of the diplomatic corps, the Chief of Defense Staff and the Inspector General of Police being represented. His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, thank you for coming. His Imperial Majesty, the Oni of Ife, thank you for coming. And other revered royal fathers are here with us. Our dear leader, John Cardinal Lankor, thank you for being here, and other clergymen that are here with us. There are so many retired and former senior government functionaries that are here. I wouldn't bother you to enumerate their names. But in the waiting room, I saw General Dambaza, who was my Chief of Army Staff, then later became Minister of Defense, who will listen to you. And Solomon Arase, Dr. Solomon Arase, who was my Inspector General of Police, and I think now the Chairman of the Police Service Commission, you're still there, and other very senior military people, government functionaries that are here to talk. I will be extremely brief in my intervention. First and foremost, let me thank the Honorable Speaker, members of the committee, and indeed the House of Rep for inviting me to participate in this national dialogue on state policing. In fact, I got information only yesterday when I had a conversation with the speaker. It would have been difficult for me to come, but since I left office, I've been having a number of programs, and the National Assembly have always been there to support me. And this is the first time the National Assembly invited me, so I said I will do everything, cancel all my other programs to come and honor you. In fact, the issue today, national dialogue on state policing, is very critical. But one thing is that we don't need to debate on whether we should have state police or not. I think that matter has been concluded. The issue is the operations of the police. I operated at the state level for 8 years, deputy governor, then came to the center, vice president, president for another 8 years. And I know that in Biafra State and other states that attempted to have some element of security operatives that assisted the police, it worked very well. In Biafra State, when we took over, the state was almost ungovernable. Abdul Salami will remember that when the elections were to be conducted in December 1999, Colonel Edo will be then wrote to you saying the security situation in Biafra State was so bad that couldn't guarantee the elections in December 98. So our elections were pushed to January 99. When we took over, the state was in crisis. Niger Delta agitation was there, but criminal elements were also operating all the creeks and were doing all kinds of havoc to market women and others. Until Alamesi, then my boss, has to set up the Biafra volunteers that work with police. And we had to build stations around the critical parts of the creeks. And the boys volunteered to work with the police since they couldn't carry weapons. And that brought the excessive piracy down. So there's no way we can manage our internal security if states will not have their police. So the issue is not states having police, but how will the state police function vis-a-vis the national security architecture? When I set up the 2014 National Dialogue, within that period, we have a lot of challenges in the country. People were agitating so many areas. But when we set up that dialogue, one thing that the whole almost 500 delegates agreed without much ado was the issue of state police. When that matter came up, everybody supported the issue of state police. So we cannot move away from state police. I remember the issue of state police was accepted. The issue of national border force was also accepted. And the issue of Coast Guard was also accepted. And the National Assembly, while you are debating or conducting a public hearing on the state police, these issues of national border force must be considered. Because we said that yes, the immigration and the customs carry weapons and they are the border controls, but they cannot play the role of national border guards because those are control routes. The customs and the immigration stay in the control routes. Criminal elements don't pass those control routes. They pass through the borders at different points. It is only when we have a national border force that will be able to contain these elements. And most of the customs and the immigration, though they carry weapons, but they were not sufficiently trained to confront these criminal gangs. I was in the customs for 2 years before I entered the university, and I know the training given to us was not enough for you to confront these criminal gangs. So these issues must be integrated with the issue of state police. Could the state police also, for the riverine areas like the Niger Delta, also play that role of coast guards? Could the one in the north, the boundary areas, also play the role of the national border force? This will surely help the country. We are not going to debate, and we should not waste our time debating whether we should have state police or not. Listening to the speaker, he gave the history. Even in this country, we operated it before. Why is that the military scrapped it? Because of the abuse. And that is the area we should concentrate on. How do we manage the state police and it will not be abused by state political actors? If state political actors are abusing the state police and using the state police to harass and make life miserable for people who don't belong to their political parties, could the commander-in-chief sit down and watch, or will he order the military to go and overrun the state police? Of course, that will bring crisis in the country. So I think the key areas that we have to debate is how do we run the state police vis-a-vis the national security architecture of the country. And these things need to be done carefully. Luckily, there are so many countries that have this. We also experimented it before during the First Republic. And the relevant committee members would travel to this country or understudy them or get it from the Google or read from the literature. Because it is very critical. That is the area we are worried. This matter would have come up even much earlier than now, even when I was in office. But what we were worried was that, look, even in local government elections, even in cosmopolitan states, other parties, if the governor is from party A, you see people in party B and C will win elections as senators, will even win elections as House of Rep, will win some state assembly elections, but they come to local government chairman and councillor, at least no other party wins. It's only the party that produced the governor that will clear all the councillors. It's not possible. So if we're talking about state police, we must also rejig INEC. And the police must not be used against or to the advantage of any political party that by divine providence happens to be the governor of the state. So the issue of the voting, the polling booths of INEC and the use of the police during elections has to be reviewed by the National Assembly. In fact, even the polling units we use for our voting, this is the only country I've visited that have isolated polling units. Most other countries have gone to observe elections. They have polling centers. They take primary school or secondary school. And within that polling center, you may have 5 to 10 polling units within the polling center. I just came back from Senegal, then from Pakistan. You see the police are always at the gate. They don't even go into the compound. They don't go near where voting was taking place. The citizens were also disciplined enough not to behave in a way that will attract the police. We must find a way to make the use of police for electoral purposes very, very limited. Not what we hear today, that security operatives assist in ballot stuffing or snatching or things that way. So the National Assembly need to look into all this. I think these are the areas that we have to concentrate. The issue of the need for states to have their own police is not negotiable. There's no way we can continue this kidnapping that is going on in this country. It is for this commercial kidnapping started about 2006. I don't want to go into that history when I was the governor of Biafra State. But it started in the Niger Delta. Now it has been a commercial venture all over the country. And we've not been able to control it. The only thing that can help us, if we cannot stop it completely, but at least to reduce it to the barest minimum, is for states to have their police. And while making the law, sometimes we'll say, okay, the state police should have limited weapons. The caliber of weapons the police should have in the state should be limited. That is an area that must also be we must be careful with. I'm not expecting states to have rockets, missiles, but the conventional weapons, if you look at the caliber of weapons criminals use, the states must have superior weapons, or at least equal. If you make the states to have weapons that are inferior to the ones that the criminals are using, then you're asking their police to commit suicide in the field. You cannot give your police a weapon that will kill at maybe 50 meters range. Then the criminal has a weapon that will kill 100-meter range. Then you are not doing anything. So we must not even go there in terms of limiting the capacity of the state police. A state that has enough resources must equip the police very well. And that state can also assist other states. I remember in East Southern Africa, you see a country like Rwanda sometimes send their military to assist other countries when they have crisis. So a state that has a little more money and equip the police very well, can also send assistance to another police and another state that have major challenges. It's national challenge. And if you don't crush the challenge that state has, those criminal elements will one day come to your state. So where that is happening, the states should come together. Luckily, the chairman of this governors forum is here, he will speak, can work together. That is the best way we can protect this nation and Nigerians, and everybody has anything to do in Nigeria will live at peace. I thank you all.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency Dr. Goodluck Abele Jonathan, GCFR, former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and a very prominent member of the West African Elders Forum. I mean, he's talked about
and the by Dalun Neno, Umife, Kunisuene Sorani Neme. As no Bosinkata, Manana, Mao, Edikaina Pono Bosinkata, Asna, no Adran Chainama. I had Dramone, Kedramano, the Dramana for the Wazaramana. Ozaya non Kenny be no Adranama. Or try Purotako Adiri. Isa. I did kin the Biafra Prime Minister Kuni Rakoko, the Cassi teacher. Also the Kibia Bo, Kifi were equal, Bastamaka beef, Dani no was in the a drop all eye on the Commission Bureau. And cause of couple Chetapania Eastern News 24, Kaisi, when it's Taluno. When I was Topoluno, and when I was Topoluno, I bomb chief, and normally Yado Kemba, and Ibo. Dano no munim,